Hi, it's Michelle from Movement Lesson. Now I'm going to discuss just different abnormalities that can happen with the eyes, the difference between binocular and non-binocular vision. Binocular vision means I have two eyes working together that I'm looking at this camera right now. Non-binocular vision means the eyes aren't working together, and this can happen many different ways. I'm just going to show you some sequences and how it affects the turning of the head. So when I have binocular vision, again, I can look at the camera, but also when I look around, my eyes are working together. And these two ways of the eyes looking together, I can adjust to short and long distance. So let's say here I'm looking all the way off to the corner, let's say, and then now I'm looking at my chair or my table. My eyes can adjust of where I'm looking at the stand, back at the camera, up at the ceiling. And the eyes are very quick to come back into focus in a sense, or follow with what I'm doing. When I don't have binocular vision, this can be different ways. People might have heard of a lazy eye, strabismus, nystagmus. There's lots of different abnormalities that can happen. So I'm going to pull my right eye out. So now, depending on my nervous system, I either am going to adjust that I'm seeing you with my right eye. So that means now just to see this camera, because my eye is out, I have to go this way. So you might see someone that's more where their head has to tilt to look at you. Now, this is right eye dominant. Now I can be left eye dominant, even though, again, my right eye, I'm pulling it out, my left eye. So there's a little bit less head rotation. But as you can see, my eyes aren't looking at you. I can't even see the screen of the camera if I wanted to. I'm just right now trying to concentrate on the focus of the camera lens. However, when I go to look up now, again, am I looking with my left eye, my right? First of all, there's a slower ability of looking around. But the farther I go out when I have non-binocular vision, I'm seeing two of everything. So right now, if I'm looking at my other camera, my tripod, they look like they're about this far apart, and and further and further. For every door jam, especially the door jams that are farther away, are there. It's like, do I go through door number 1 or door number 2? So I'm bringing that back now. Left eye out will look like this. Now 2, let's say if I'm looking around the room, I'm looking left eye dominant. When I have to look left eye dominant, I have to rotate that much farther with my head, neck, and chest to see over here, because I don't have the peripheral vision is the same. And then again, when I look here, see, I only have to turn about this much. But again, that's left eye dominant. Getting a little dizzy here. My right eye dominant, again, too, I'm going to have to turn that much farther to see the same object versus here. Now, going back to binocular vision, looking left to right, I can just do this. It's a much shorter range. You can have the eyes in, you can have both eyes in, which is the cross-eyed, same kind of sequencing. If I have one eye in, am I looking more this eye? So you might see more this, where the head has to tilt to look. Or left eye dominant, even though this eye's in, and then I'm like that, and I might get more of a head tilt that way. But again, now if my head has to tilt, look at what my body has to do just to walk down the hallway. So those are just different ways of looking at binocular and non-binocular vision and why they need to be corrected. Might take as much as surgery, glasses where it's pulling the eye in. But glasses, even though I'm not an ophthalmologist, I'd like to recommend where it's a script, meaning that you have an acuity issue. What I don't like to see is where the eyes are taped. I'm sorry. Just because I'm taping here, in lots of cases, especially when it's a lazy eye and there's cognitive or developmental delays, they're actually going to look at the tape. And they're literally like here. And especially too, with munchkins, that the frames are too small. I almost want to see larger frames, because again, you don't want the frames themselves blocking the visual way of seeing a room. Also too, if the glasses don't work for the person, especially the child, and they have lower communication skills, they're not going to use them. They have to get used to them, but lenses can be cut wrong. So there's a lot of things to be taken into consideration, but acuity is just one thing that people think of. But the non-binocular vision, that's my specialty. That's what I go after. And that has to be corrected first, either with therapy, movement, and worst case options, surgery, patching. Again, these have to be in coordination with your therapist and with your ophthalmologist as regards to what's best for your system. Thanks. Bye.
The Newborn Movement Assessment Guide is available at Amazon.com and at the newbornmovementassessment.com website.
By joining this exciting community, you will learn how to help infants from the moment that they enter the world and change the lives of countless children and families. Out of necessity to help her globally delayed child, Michelle Turner, Movement Integration Specialist, created Movement Lesson to benefit children throughout the world.